Hey guys, we're back at this thing, and we've been talking about, just free will. And it can be overwhelming at times because free will means that we're also free to fail. And freeing to fail means oftentimes that we take so much control over our lives because we don't want to fail. It causes anxiety, frustration, and even irritation. And so, Deanna, what a lot of times we do in our free will, we hold on to so many things. You know, I'm free to do good things, but I'm also free to do bad things. You know, just like I can drink Kool-Aid, I can, drink Tanqueray. I mean, I'm free to do whatever I like, and so I can get up and I can get tattoos and I can hang out. And freedom means that I'm free to fail as well as I'm free to fly. And that can be scary. And there are certain groups in the Bible who tried to set up precautions to keep people from getting beyond their freedoms and failures. And they became groups like the Pharisees. And they were to set up issues that we would try to overcome so we never fail. And nobody's ever going to not fail. Failure is a part of free will. But the great thing about it is, though we're afraid to fall, God is not afraid of our free will. He's really not afraid that we fumble. God never says, oh no, Damon messed up today, or oh no, he's running late, or you know what, Damon really messed, I don't know what to do. God never says that. And so we see in the book of Matthew, in the 26th chapter, one of the things that starts to happen as Peter really tells Jesus, hey, I'm not going to leave you. And Jesus tells him, yes, you will. Jesus can say that to Peter because I'm not afraid of you falling. I'm not afraid of you failing you, and I'm definitely not afraid of you failing me. Because even if you fail, Peter, I still got a blessing for you because God is bigger than our failures, and that's why he's not afraid to let us fall. If you are afraid to fall, you're probably not operating in free will, and you're really not free at all. You got to be free enough to fail, and people around you have to be free enough to fail too. And how do we deal with that is something totally different than the way most people would deal with it. You can't deal with it in a controlling fashion. But one of the things that God teaches us, when he says, Peter, listen, I'm about to die. And Peter says, no, God forbid you won't die. You know what? I'll give my life. He said, no, you won't. You're going to fail because before the cock crows in the morning, you're going to deny me 3 times. 3 times. Oh no, never me. I'm not going to fail. I got free will and I'm going to choose to succeed and I'm going to muscle myself through it. And I read the next Tony Robbins book and I'm going to be strong. And you know what? God, I'm not going to fail you and I'm going to hold down. I may fumble a little bit, but I'm not really going to fail you. And then when we fail God, we look like, you know what? He said I was going to do that because later in the book, the girl comes up to him and says, hey, you were the guy who was running with Jesus. He said, no, I wasn't. Another guy says, hey, we saw you. No. And then the young girl says, yes, you are. You're one of those Galileans. No. And all of a sudden, failure punched him right in the face. Have you ever had failure hit you in the eye? You knew it was coming, but you couldn't avoid it. You were making bad choices after bad choices. Maybe you were spending too much money and weren't accounting for all your finances. And you knew sooner or later it was going to come up to bite you. And it did. Maybe you were talking and running with the wrong crowd, and sooner or later that crowd got the worst of you and not the best of you. And you looked around and you said, who am I? Relationships will do that to us all the time. Decisions kind of pull at us quite often. And really, failure is inevitable. It's a part of free will. So we serve a God who gives us a target and a mark. And we're trying to hit that mark every day. And sometimes because we are human, we miss the mark and therefore we fail. But there is a God that we serve in the Bible, a God of not only acceptance of our failure, but also forgiveness from our failures. This is the great ideal of the God of Israel. He not only accepts us in our failing state, but he also forgives us in our failing state. If you were to tell somebody, you're going to fail me 3 times, and not just fail me, but you're going to fail me when I needed you the most, when I was looking for your support. But Jesus understands God's plan. And you're going to fail me And not only are you going to fail me, but I'm okay with that. And you know what? Even though you fail me, the key is God still forgave him. For when he came back, he said, listen, I want you to go and get my disciples and also get Peter. And then he went to the water where Peter was fishing with the other gentleman. And he says, hey, you guys, did you catch anything? When John identifies him, Peter still runs to him and he goes to him. And after they've eaten a meal and had breakfast, he says, listen, Peter, do you love me? Boy, what a way of coming back and saying, I know you failed me, but I've forgiven you. And forgiveness is the way that God deals with our failures. Solomon understood this principle to be true back in 2 Chronicles. And he said, listen, God, if my people were to follow after you and humble themselves and seek your face and turn from their wicked ways. And then later on, he goes and said, you know what? If my people who are called by my name, if they humble themselves and turn from their wicked ways and seek my face, yeah, they'll heal from heaven and I'll forgive their sins and heal their land. God is one who understands that failure is a part of our humanity and free will. It is impossible to take on the responsibilities of living without taking on the efforts and ideals that I am going to fail. And so what we need to put in place in our failure is the same thing that God puts in place. It's a great another F word. And instead of going, what the it's called forgiveness. We need to want to forgive. We need to forgive ourselves. Understand that failure is going to happen. Every play is not going to be perfect. And you just got to learn how to forgive yourself. Dust yourself off and let's start over. Let's do it again. You know, I was, as a younger guy, I played football, and very rarely did I ever see a football play go off as planned. Because guess what? The enemy on the other side, or my opponent, so to speak, they had a plan too. And their plan was not necessarily to stop my plan, but they were trying to impose their plan on me, and I was trying to impose my plan on them. And Lisa Plummer, you know what? Sometimes the plan just never looked the way, I've never seen it look the way it was drawn up on the board. And the only way to make sure that we can learn how to get beyond our failure is also learning the skill of forgiveness. Forgiveness is the ideal of when we say to ourselves, you know what? I didn't do it right, but I still got another chance to do it again. I accept my limitations. I am not perfect. And you know what? Not only do I forgive myself, I forgive other people because they're not perfect either, but they do have free will. So God is not afraid of your free will, and God is not afraid of you. He's not afraid of your mistakes and your failures. He allows us to roam free and have control over the life he's blessed us with. And if you never want to come to God, he still allows the sun to shine on the just as well as the unjust. And he still provides blessings in air and oxygen and pulmonary function and respiratory function. And you still can be rich and wealthy, and you can have all of the great things that the world has offered, even if you don't want him. That's free will. But he also says, would a man gain the whole world and lose his soul? God understands that you have free will to do as you choose, and it does not make him afraid, because he knows sooner or later, come unto me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. He understands that he is the beginning and the end. Why would I be afraid of people who are fumbling around in the middle? Have your go at it. I'll take care of it. And so let's just cut through the chase. Since God is not afraid of my freedom and my failure, then I'm not going to be afraid of my freedom and failure. Today is the day you operate in a fearless capacity with your freedom, because today I'm going to follow after God. I'm going to do it the way he says do it. And when I do fail, because failing is a part of my success, I'll forgive myself. See how that works? Deanna, you got it? I know, Sister Ezel, you already got it. Trina, you're rocking with me, I know. Today, I will be free to follow Christ. And when I fall and when I fail, you know what? I serve a God, the Bible says, who is able to keep me from falling and present me faultless in front of him. And so, you know, he expects me to do well. I expect me to do well. But on occasion that I do fail, I'm not going to be afraid to live. I'm going to live life to the fullest. I'm going to dust myself off. And today, I'm going to try to follow after his plan with fullness of joy, freedom in my heart, without trying to hold back and worrying about, that stupid thing called failure. Because if you start to worry about it, that's a whole nother devil altogether. We don't have time to get into this morning. So focus on Christ. Be obedient in the moments. Do the right thing when you know they are to be done. And when you don't know the right thing to be done, sometimes don't do anything. That's the time to pray and find out what the right thing is. It makes it that simple. When you don't have a job, find a job. When you don't know what the right thing is, find out what the right thing is. And when you find out what the right thing is, follow the right thing with freedom in your heart. It'll put a smile on your face, a joy in your spirit. And then in times when you do fall, we have an advocate with God who would now, he'll forgive us of our sins and cleanse us of all unrighteousness. Man, this is a good deal. I love following God. This is good stuff. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to talk more about free will because we's free. And there's no time to walk around like we're bound up in stupidity anymore. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have called it stupid. But we do get bound up in ourselves. Bye. I'm going to talk to you guys tomorrow. We're going to do more about this free will.